In high school, there are 4 types of people: students who don't try, students that do bad, students that do good, and students that try hard. As you can see by the title, I fell into the last category. Throughout high school, I took 11 AP exams and 5 dual credit classes, and at the end of the day, I ended up with a GPA of 5.7906 out of 5, meaning I averaged a 97.7906 throughout my honors and AP classes, which landed me a spot of number 3 out of well over 800 students. But at the end of the day, I'm not too sure it was worth it, and here's why. Starting off, we have to take a look at the relationship between our work and our results. The thing is, the relationship between work and results is not linear, but more like a square root graph as suggested by the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle, which is more well known as the 80-20 principle, suggests that 80% of our results come from just 20% of our work. So, going back to school, let's take a look at a person who ranked 1 in a class of 100 people. If this individual only put in 20% of the effort he put into becoming number 1, he wouldn't have ranked as number 80, but actually number 20. And knowing that each percentage of work is worth less and less when it comes to results, this person could have likely just spent 50% of their efforts and still would have likely landed into the top 10%, if not higher. Now of course, other factors do play into this, like how easily you understand new content and your natural understanding of various subjects. So for your individual scenario, you may be looking at a 20-60 rule or a 20-90 rule, but the principle remains identical. The minority of our work accounts for the majority of our results. Considering this, is spending the extra 80% of our effort worth it for the last 20% of results? Well, in most cases, the answer is no. Spending 20% may not be appropriate, but in the vast majority of scenarios, spending 40, 50, 60, or 70% would allow you to achieve 90 to 95% of the same things while being significantly less demanding. This isn't that big of a deal in high school. Sure, by trying harder, you may be more stressed and have less time for yourself. But for the most part, it's not like you would do something more productive with the time anyways. However, carrying this mindset into work can really be detrimental, as it takes away from your ability to focus on other projects. For instance, let's say we have 2 guys who are financial analysts named Elon and Jeff. Elon is a great employee. He gets his work done and causes no issues. And he chooses to work at a mid-sized local firm, making the median salary of 80 grand. Jeff, on the other hand, is exceptional and is always impressing his managers and directors. From the very first interview, he knocked the socks off management, allowing him to score a financial analyst job at a prestigious international firm, earning $20,000 above the median at $100,000 per year. Being financial analysts, both of these guys are well aware of the power of stocks, bonds, and options. However, Elon has more time outside of work than Jeff to analyze and invest into various stocks. This is because with Elon's job, it only takes him 40 hours per week, with 60-hour weeks here and there. Jeff's job, however, is costing him 80+ hours per week as he is working in the heart of Wall Street. Assuming that 80 hours a week is 100% of one's work energy, Elon still has 40 hours left to spend on investments, but Jeff has none. In other words, Elon spends 50% of his effort to make 80K, while Jeff spends 100% of his effort to make 100K. If Elon is able to carry the same efficiency into his investments, he'd actually be making a total of $160,000, which is 60% higher than Jeff. But even if he was only half as efficient with his investments compared to his job, he'd still be making $120,000, which is still 20% higher than Jeff. Not to mention, Elon's income is more diverse and more likely to grow, as he's not at the max at his job or with his investments. Now, that was just an example, but it happens to be pretty close to reality. Elon Musk runs 2 of the largest companies in the world, and he is able to pull it off because he spends his time in the places that have the largest impacts on either company. He's not going to be trying to perfect landing rockets when Tesla is going through production hell. And he's not worried about Tesla stock plunging when SpaceX is about to launch humans to the ISS. While this sounds self-explanatory, it's not so clear in our day-to-day lives, as we neglect external opportunities on a daily basis, pouring all our effort into school or our one job. And as for Jeff Bezos, well, he literally embodies the example. After college, Jeff Bezos worked at a hedge fund company named D.E. Sean Co., and he likely poured everything into it as he became vice president in just 4 years. However, as we already know, he realized it wasn't worth his time, leading him to quit and start Amazon. As for how this applies to me and high school, well, I've been doing YouTube for 3 years now, but till recently, nearly all of my videos were published over the summer when I had more time. Taking a look at my Social Blade graph, we can see a peak during the last 2 summers that quickly fade away after school starts as I get back into tryharding in school. Now, this isn't to say that I should have completely dropped the ball on school to pursue YouTube. However, if I aim to be a great student rather than an exceptional one, I could have saved a lot of effort. And I could have spent this extra effort onto YouTube. It likely won't be the 3 videos a week that I'm able to post over the summer, but it would be significantly higher than no videos a week that ended up happening by tryharding in school. The truth is, most of my extra efforts at school make no tangible difference in my educational outlook, while consistent effort towards YouTube throughout the year could have significantly upgraded my chances at YouTube growth. But that's not the main reason I regret going so hard at high school. The main reason I would have changed my approach to high school is the motive behind it. Most people who try hard in school fall into 3 categories. There's those who try because of their parents, those who try for social clout, and then there are those who do it for the money. Working towards a high-paying job is the most noble of the 3, as it's in hopes of self-improvement. But really, all 3 of these approaches are flawed. Working to meet parents' expectations or social clout really needs no explanation as to why they're flawed. However, as for trying to get a high-paying job, the issue with this is not that most of these people don't achieve their goal. Most of these people do eventually get great jobs, paying well into 6 figures if not multiple 6 figures. However, virtually all of these people also fall into 85% of people who hate their jobs. Thus, they have failed at the more important goals of work-life balance as well as job satisfaction. Personally, I didn't think school would have the biggest impact on my future income, nor did I have much pressure from my parents. The main reason I tryharded in school was simply for social reasons. It made me feel cool and raise my ego. But there's no question that those are meaningless, superficial metrics that will fade away the day high school ends. And that's why I regret tryharding in high school. I could have spent much less effort and my results wouldn't have really changed. I could have spent this saved effort into other endeavors that would likely have a larger impact. And it's not like I was trying because I love school. Now, if you're part of the minority who actually loves the material and not tryharding for the external reasons, that's outstanding and you should keep doing whatever it is you're doing. But for the rest of us, whether we like to admit it or not, we are heavily fueled by superficial reasons, and I think we should take it back just a notch. Don't be a bad student, but simply settle being a good student or a good employee. And with the extra time you have, pursue projects that you're actually passionate about, whether starting a business, growing a real estate portfolio, or investing in the market. One day, you might even be able to turn your full focus on these side projects, at which point you can try hard as much as you want, as this effort is coming from the heart as opposed to the brain. But that's just my experience. Drop a like if you guys agree, and of course, consider subscribing to see more questions logically answered. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.